Hey guys, it's Caleb with the Tradition Coffee Company here, and I want to welcome you guys to a series of videos that we're going to do where I had the idea of taking kind of like some everyday supermarket coffees, maybe like, Maxwell Houses and Folgers, all the way up to like some Aldi's as well as Publix brands, and brew them in specialty ways or manual ways, such as like the Chemex or the AeroPress, plunger, different things like that, and really just experience the coffee in a different light, see if the brewing method has a lot of effect on the final outcome of the coffee. And we're going to do a series. We're going to try different coffees in different ways. We may try this one in a couple different ways, but today we're going to start with the Maxwell House, the original roast. This is a coffee that was always around my grandparents' house when I was growing up. It seems like this brand was introduced, I think, in 1892. It was named after the Maxwell House Hotel in Nashville, Tennessee, and for like 100 years up until the 80s was the number one selling coffee in the United States. And they're most known for their slogan, the good to the last drop, as they denote here on the canister itself. So we're going to brew it up today in the Chemex, and we're going to see really just what it is. I'm going to give you kind of my thoughts, my opinions, my taste on it. And hopefully it'll help you guys make a good decisions whenever you guys go to the grocery store to pick up some coffees. So I'm going to go ahead and brew this up real fast, and I will be back in just a second. Hey guys, and we're back. So I've brewed up our Maxwell House, our good to the last drop, 100 years best-selling coffee since the 80s. And it was interesting. So the first thing I noticed when I opened up the Maxwell House, and who knows when this was ground, how long it's been ground for, how long it sat on the shelf ground before I purchased it, where it was ground at, any of that stuff. But the first thing I noticed, obviously, is that the grind size was more suited towards like a paper filter, like a traditional brewer, which isn't the case when using a Chemex. Because with a Chemex, you need a little bit coarser of a ground than like you would use with a paper filter or a traditional brew basket, I guess you would say. But the smell of the coffee was interesting, I would say. Typically, when I smell like a specialty grade coffee, you get a lot of floral notes. A lot of the growing region of which the coffee was grown in. This, I would say, I'm probably getting most of the smell from the factory that it was processed in. The best way to describe the smell of the coffee and when it was blooming, the smell that I got was a stale basement that's had cardboard boxes just sitting in it, and the smell when you walk in, it's not been exposed to like fresh air in a long time, and it just kind of hits you. So that's what I got. But we are brewing it with the Chemex. So the Chemex is an hourglass shaped pour over type of brewer that uses a proprietary filter. The filter's a little bit thicker than a standard filter. It is paper. They come in either like a white or like a unbleached craft. And it's an interesting filter, right? So it folds out to be a square. But what ultimately you do is that you fold it in just like this, and there's a little pocket that you create here. And the little pocket, you've got one side that's one layer thick, and then the other side that's 3 layers thick. So you got 1, 2, 3, and the 3-layer thick side goes in just like this, with the side where the spout is. And this is the Tradition Coffee Company's really preferred brewing method. It creates such a clean cup. It's consistent. It's easy. It's quick. And it's just all in all been a really great experience. So here we go. Maxwell House, good to the last drop. 80 years or 100 years running best-selling coffee, brewed into the Chemex. I haven't tasted it yet, so this is going to be the first time I tasted it. And I'm just going to kind of give you my thoughts of it. So here we are. We're pouring it into the cup. And it was a lot darker than I expected. Now it's considered a medium roast. This is their original roast. Classic, rich, and our signature taste is how Maxwell House describes it. And this canister claims to make 90 6-ounce cups of coffee. A tablespoon for every 6 ounces. That's about half of what most other places recommend as of your coffee to water ratio. But I did brew it with our traditional Chemex recipe, which is about 53 grams of coffee, about 800 grams of water at about 200 degrees. It did take longer because the grind size is a little finer than what initially was needed for the Chemex. So I just brewed a little longer. Didn't want to vary too much. So here we go. First smell. I mean, it smells chemically. It smells like it's processed, just old. Like I said, stale, wet basement. I mean, taste-wise, it's not terrible. I would say rich. It says rich. I would say rich is a good flavor. It's thicker than what I would expect out of a medium roast. I would define this more as like a dark roast. Could be the fact that the grind was a little too fine for my brew methods, which could be why it came out a little darker. But, all in all, I would say... I mean, I think I paid $4 for this can, which is kind of cheap when it comes to coffee. I mean, it's 12 ounces. That's actually really, really cheap. That's about a quarter to an eighth of what you would spend for like especially grade coffee. But I mean, it's not bad. Like I said, it's a little bolder than I thought it was going to be. I expected with it being medium that it would be a lot finer or a lot lighter in body. But it's got a very intense mouthfeel right on the tip of your tongue. Not a whole lot of flavor going on, I would say. Some very like smoky flavors in it, and that's just because of the way the coffee is probably roasted. When you're roasting, hundreds and hundreds of kilograms at one time, I can only imagine what it ends up being and tasting like, and I'm sure they've got a roast dialed in that they dialed in 100 years ago whenever they started being the best selling coffee, and I highly doubt it's changed much. But I didn't expect a lot out of this because it is just a traditional coffee. And I'm interested to see as we venture further down. I am going to try this in the AeroPress. We are going to try some different ones. I mean, we're even going to try some flavored coffees just to help you guys really decide what out there is good, what out there isn't that great. But I would say for a traditional coffee that is cheap and, I mean, it's palatable. I probably won't drink any more of it just because I have access to a lot of higher specialty grade coffees and stuff like that. But it was an interesting experiment, and I'm really looking forward to what else this brings and how much further we can go with these videos and the reviews and the tasting and stuff like that. So again, Maxwell House, Chemex, not terrible, better than I expected, but I didn't really have high hopes anyways. So, but I would say it's palatable, it's drinkable. If I was stranded in a forest, I would drink it. If it was the only thing I had left, I would drink it. If a bear was chasing me, I would drink it. I would probably sacrifice it and try to let the bear have it. But I think that's good. So happy brewing. I wish you guys nothing but the best. And again, let me know what you think if you've tried Maxwell House down in the comments. And we'll see you guys around. Cheers.